Another day, another book. The Great Gatsby is a timeless novel written by F. Scott Fitzgerald and first published in 1925. Set in the early 1920s, the story takes place in the fictional town of West Egg on Long Island, New York. Through the eyes of the narrator, Nick Carraway, the reader is introduced to a world of opulence, excess, and the pursuit of the elusive American dream. The story begins as Nick moves to West Egg, where he rents a small house next to a grand mansion owned by the enigmatic Jay Gatsby. Gatsby, a wealthy and mysterious man, throws extravagant parties every weekend, hoping that his long-lost love, Daisy Buchanan, will one day attend. Daisy, married to the arrogant and unfaithful Tom Buchanan, lives across the bay in East Egg. Nick soon becomes acquainted with his cousin, Daisy, and her husband, Tom. He also meets Jordan Baker, a professional golfer and a friend of Daisy's. Through his relationship with Jordan, Nick learns about Daisy's past and her connection to Gatsby. He discovers that Gatsby and Daisy had been in love years ago, but their relationship was interrupted when Gatsby went off to fight in World War I. Since then, Gatsby has been obsessively working to amass wealth and create a life that would be worthy of Daisy's return. As the story unfolds, Gatsby invites Nick to one of his extravagant parties, hoping that Daisy will attend. Daisy eventually arrives with Tom, and it becomes apparent that she is still drawn to Gatsby. Nick realizes that Gatsby's pursuit of Daisy is driven not only by love but also by his desire to recapture the past and rewrite history. Nick becomes caught up in the affairs of the Buchanans and Gatsby, observing their relationships and the moral decay that lies beneath their lavish lifestyles. He witnesses Tom's infidelity and Daisy's indifference, as well as the callousness with which they treat others. Through Nick's eyes, we see the stark contrast between the superficiality and corruption of the wealthy elite and the lives of the working class, represented by characters like George and Myrtle Wilson. Gatsby, fueled by his undying love for Daisy, orchestrates a reunion between her and himself, leading to an affair. However, their secret is not kept for long. Tom becomes suspicious of Gatsby's intentions and starts investigating his background. Tom discovers that Gatsby is a self-made man, whose wealth is derived from illegal activities. Tom confronts Gatsby about his intentions toward Daisy and exposes his criminal background to her. Daisy, torn between her love for Gatsby and her loyalty to her husband, becomes overwhelmed and emotionally unstable. On the fateful day of confrontation, Tom insists that Daisy return to East Egg with him, attempting to reassert his control over her. Driving home from New York City, Daisy is behind the wheel of Gatsby's car, with Gatsby himself as her passenger. In a tragic turn of events, Daisy accidentally hits and kills Myrtle Wilson, Tom's mistress, who had been running across the road. Consumed by guilt, Daisy continues driving, leaving the scene of the accident. The news of Myrtle's death spreads quickly, and George Wilson, Myrtle's husband, becomes consumed by grief and seeks vengeance. He assumes that Gatsby is responsible for his wife's death and sets out to find and kill him. Meanwhile, Gatsby is left hoping that Daisy will confess her love for him and take responsibility for her actions. In a dramatic climax, George finds Gatsby in his mansion and shoots him before turning the gun on himself. Gatsby dies alone, surrounded by the material possessions he had hoped would win Daisy's heart. The aftermath of Gatsby's death reveals the true nature of those around him. Daisy, unwilling to face the consequences of her actions, withdraws into herself and becomes an elusive figure. Tom and Daisy leave town, unaffected by the tragedy they have caused. Nick, disillusioned by the moral decay he has witnessed, decides to leave West Egg and return to the Midwest. He realizes that the world of wealth and privilege is filled with emptiness and moral bankruptcy. Reflecting on Gatsby's life and the American dream, Nick concludes that the pursuit of wealth and status often leads to a hollow existence, devoid of true happiness and fulfillment. The Great Gatsby is a powerful critique of the Roaring Twenties, a period of excess and moral decline in America. Fitzgerald explores themes of love, wealth, social class, and the corruption of the American dream. Through the tragic story of Jay Gatsby, the novel serves as a cautionary tale about the emptiness and transience of material wealth, reminding us that true happiness cannot be bought but must be sought through genuine human connections and a meaningful purpose in life. Thanks for watching.